Sarah will be conducting the presentation today, but before I have a few quick announcements. First being, we are still in need of volunteers for the ERP sim. That's February 11th. We also are going to need a few volunteers the 12th as well. For those of you who are not participating in the event, it is highly encouraged for you to sign up. If you have any questions or want to sign up, please come see me after the event. Next up, please mark in your calendars, February 17th. We will not have a normal study session. Instead, Marathon will be coming in to give a presentation. I think it will be extremely beneficial, and hopefully we'll see you guys there. As well, you guys received an email this morning. In that email, there's a link for registration. I'm aware that some of you guys have yet to register, so that is up and running, so you guys should get to that as soon as possible. With that being said, the TERP 10 deadline registration is February 26th. That will also be the last day we are accepting payment for the user group. Good?
Yep.
All right.
Alright, so we're going to go over financial accounting today. So financial accounting is like one of these modules that's kind of super integrated in all the other ones. So FI by itself doesn't have a ton of stuff to go over. But so then I'm just going to go over basics, org structure, master data, using the general ledger, and then reconciliation accounts. And then I made a couple of review questions for you guys. So basics about it, it is purely focused on the external people. Whenever you hear financial accounting, I want you to think external as opposed to managerial, where you're going to care about more the internal people. It's mostly used for the legal reporting, and then some basic accounting principles that you guys probably should already know. Debits are always equal to credits, and then your assets are going to be equal to your liabilities plus equity. So this is the organizational structure for financial accounting. We always start with compliance. It's going to be your highest level in every single module you'll ever see. Next is the controlling area, and that's a self-contained unit for costs and revenues. And then after that, you'll have company codes, and the controlling area can have many different company codes. But something important to know, which I'll talk about a little bit more, is like the company code always needs to have, if they are assigned to the same controlling area, they're always going to need to have the same physical year variant and also the operational chart of accounts. So company code is also just the smallest accounting unit that there is a full set of legal books. So like I said, the company code can only be assigned to the one operating chart of account. It's also kind of important to note there are other kinds of chart of accounts, but this whole concept only applies to the operating one. And also the fiscal year variant will not be the same, it is attached to the same controlling area. So master data, first it's kind of important to know what master data actually is. So that's that long-term data. It's always going to be organized into different views. And kind of just like a view will just be a lump of information about it. It's kind of generally be just like a screen or two about the master data. It's kind of hard to describe, but you'll kind of catch the hang of it when we are introduced to more types of master data. So for financial accounting specifically, master data is only the general ledger account. So the chart of accounts, which is that part I was talking about earlier too, is the list of all the general ledger accounts that there are. So there are two views for master data. It's really important to actually know these first five that I'm going to talk about. So you have your chart of account view and the company code. Each type of master data and their views are associated with a certain kind of work structure. As you can see here, we have these 5 characteristics assigned to the chart of account, and then other ones assigned to the company code. Important to know that. So for the chart of account side of things, you're always going to have the account number, the account name, the account type, which kind of like is it a balance sheet or a statement, the group account number, and then the account group. The account group is an important rule to note. It will help determine what kinds of fields are like required, suppressed, display only, or optional. The account group is also what drives the company code information of the general ledger. So once basically, let me see if I can phrase this a little better. Yeah, so every time you're going to use a certain general ledger, you're going to need like basically a different company code to use for it, depending on like if you're using it for different company code, then it needs a different view, but it can kind of use the same chart of account view. The account group characteristic is what it's really controls the creation of the company code view. The company code view is going to have pretty much all the other information you find about the general ledger in there. So it talks about currency, or if they allow the line item categories, things like that. So this is about talking about using the general ledger. I found while I was taking the TERP that there were some questions that would ask you kind of the layout of the screens for different transactions you would do. So if you're taking config or 301 or any class that's going over SAP things, kind of try to be mindful of how the screens look when you're seeing them. Because it really helps me to kind of think back, like, okay, when I was posting in the general ledger, what did the screen look like? Can I visualize it? So just kind of be a little mindful of that before you get to the So the general ledger is made up of the work template area, header data, line item information, and the information area. Another important aspect is this posting key here. I would really recommend memorizing these three things. The posting key will always specify what kind of account it can be posted to. So that's the same kind of thing as the balance sheet as an income statement. And then also it will show if the post is a credit or a debit, and fields of the line item may have or require an entry.
Can you go back to that last time, please, Joe?
Sure. If you have any questions, feel free to shout them out too. Try my best. Reconciliation accounts are a little weird. They're always going to be associated with customers, vendors, and assets, and they can never be posted directly into them. So if you know kind of about the subledger, that's where these reconciliation accounts will sit. I can probably draw a little picture for you guys if you want. So basically, like, you'll have your accounts receivable. Just kidding, but you'd have your accounts receivable post, you post into that, and then there'd be like an adjoining post there that would go into the subledger that would be associated with your customer accounts. So do you have any questions before we get some review questions?
Could you explain a little bit about the reconciliation accounts?
Let's see. What do you want to know?
Like, you have an example for that?
One of the drop but you basically, if you had, say, a sales order and you're getting your payments for your customer, you'd be, initially you'd be posting into your accounts receivable account, and you kind of have this association tied with it. So it posts into the subledger, into your reconciliation account. But you can never post directly into the reconciliation account. That's important to really know. Does that kind of help a little bit?
So if I update the subledger account, then the reconciliation account will
Well, the subledger, the reconciliation account sits in the subledger, so you'd be updating stuff in your normal one, and then it will kind of drive postings in the subledger. So before I get into my review questions, I want to give you guys a little warning about them and kind of about the test itself. So the TERP SAP is kind of allowed to ask questions, true or false, multiple choice, or short answer, I believe is what they are. I don't believe you will ever see a short answer or true or false, but they're allowed to do them. They also will have multiple choice questions, meaning that it'll tell you, like, they'll give you a question, it'll be like, select 3 correct answers. If you select 2 of the right ones and 1 wrong one, the whole question is wrong. So because they kind of do that, I made my questions, so my questions were multiple answers, but I wasn't nice like SAP is, and I didn't tell you guys how many are right. SAT during the term time, they will tell you it says read or write, but I don't think the questions are hard enough, so I wanted to add a little bit of challenge to them. So review question 1: who is the primary audience for financial accounting? Yep, you guys are ready. Yeah, so you remember that financial accounting always external people. So care about that. The other ones are all information that you'll see about the general ledger, but those are all found in the company code view. So if you remember, the chart of accounts view will have the number, name, type of account, group account number, and the account group, which is role. So what does the posting key determine? Part of this is kind of like the account group control part of the posting key, which does the tell. So that's kind of a little tricky question with these. So it will help determine if fields are display only or if they are required, optional, things like that. Hope you guys know this one. Well, like I said, never posted directly in there. It's always going to be into a account, like an accounts receivable, accounts payable, something like that. This is our last question. Okay. Remember too, there are the charts of accounts. Part of it, there are multiple kinds of the charts of accounts. This concept only applies to the operational one. The other one, you can have different ones. Do you have any last questions?
Can you go back to that last one?
Of course. Yeah, we do. We will send out the email list as well, with PowerPoint attached to it.
And then the video we posted.
Yes, the video should be posted soon. I don't know what day, but soon. Yes.
So for like us to know all this, is it better to like, I know we're kind of reviewing the rules and this kind of thing right now, but is it best to like study things online for this kind of stuff, or do we look at
Let's see, there's definitely a lot of good resources online. That's another thing you're running with before going into this, I would highly recommend knowing or better in master data for every single module we go over. During the term 10, I had Professor Tracy, he told us like these are the freebie questions, the ones that are asking about organization and master data. They should be easy because you just know them off the top of your back of your head. No question asked. That's what I would recommend getting prepared. If you can do a little bit of study beforehand, it's definitely a good idea. It's a hard test.
SAP or is your certification best for that is
Yeah,
so not 6.7
yeah, they are definitely good. I definitely recommend taking 647 and 301 before. Take the term 10. People have done it without it, but I would at least at minimum have 301 and 647. The client can have multiple controlling areas, but the controlling area is only ever assigned to one client. Does that answer your question? Anything else?